Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd guy. And it's time for our monthly segment, the Why You Know Review, where I go through a series of records that I wish I had the time to cover in more depth in a single review this past month, but I didn't get a chance to, so I'm just talking about all these albums in a gauntlet in this video right here. Let's go! This record was definitely like some old school, by the numbers, trustworthy UK style grindcore, sounding like it's straight out of the 80s. And while the instrumentals are totally generic, the vocals are one of my favorite things this year. Sounds just like Fuzz #1. I just don't know what to say. I thought Fuzz 1 was just okay, and this one sounds a lot, if not just like Fuzz 1, and so I just kind of feel like this one's okay. Considering the weird, spacey, alternative approach that this EP takes to R&B, along with Arca's production on this, I just kind of feel like she's headed in this direction that is just all too FKA Twigs-ish. And I like FKA Twigs, but she is nowhere near as strange as FKA Twigs, and that is part of Twigs' appeal. So, I mean, there are a few tracks on here that I think are super catchy, and I think she's come through, ironically enough, with some of her best material yet. Didn't really care for her breakout mixtapes, so I mean, I suppose she's headed in the right direction with a couple of tracks here that I think are pretty great, like Rewind, good single. I like the dreamy aesthetic of this record, but the chord progressions and the melodies are just so faint and so drab that this record doesn't really leave that strong of a musical impression on me. And even the vocals, which I find very pretty and alluring, sort of lose their flavor for me after a while as I listen to this entire thing as an album. Single tracks here and there I find to be very pretty, but the whole thing is just really some one-dimensional bedroom spun dream pop. This guy is an electronic music producer formerly known as Saint Pepsi, who was producing quite a bit of future funk under that name, a little vaporwave influence, but now he seems to be kind of trending away from that niche style of underground electronic music and doing something a little bit more mainstream under this new name with this new album. And there are some killer dance beats on this thing. If you're looking for some new danceable electronic music that has a very funky aesthetic to it, a little Daft Punk influenced as well, then give this thing a listen. This guy is an English rapper embracing a lot of the sounds of pop rap and alternative rap and trap music from the US, and I think he comes together with some really artsy instrumentals. I mean, certainly the production on here is left field and has a strong style to it, but lyrically and vocally, I'm not really sure I'm that into him as a rapper. He's not really all that convincing or exciting of a character to me on record, but he's certainly moving in the right direction with this production, and if he can just be as envelope pushing with his lyrics and his flow and his voice, I think he will be a much more intriguing artist. This album is so rock that it can fucking beat scissors. Bull! I'm trying over here. I'm trying! I don't see you writing any jokes. You lost me. The future and this album. Another project from Robb Banks, another project of his that just, I don't know, goes over my head and just doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, I get that he sounds savage, I get that his production sounds real mean, real dark, but vocally, flow-wise, lyrically, he really doesn't stand out to me in any way whatsoever. He's not doing anything lyrically that to me seems unique or interesting, or I really don't know. Just there's no bars of his, there's no quotables of his that just really stick out to me. I get that he sounds mean, I get that his music sounds dark again, but beyond that, he's really not delivering much. I'm still trying to figure out whether this or the new Giorgio record was more disappointing. Most definitely respect to Janet on this record. I think she, as an older pop artist, probably was feeling a lot of pressure to make concessions toward more mainstream and more modern sounds and production styles on this record. And I think in a lot of ways she didn't give in, especially when it comes to the vocal side of this record. I think there are actually some moments where she's singing in such a way where it's really tributing her brother. However, there are some tracks on here where I think the songwriting as well as the production either is subpar or just really doesn't fit her voice and her style. I mean, one track in particular actually has kind of a driving EDM sort of style kick behind it that sort of builds up into this really synthetic chorus that just really does not fit her at all. It just really kind of feels like a grab to sort of pull through with a song that just has a pop appeal to it. This record to me was really a mixed bag and just too often showed Janet just not really playing to her strengths. Oh man, oh buddy, they have done it again. And by done it again, I mean done exactly what you expected them to do again. Ooh. This was bland. This EP was some pretty mildly stimulating, experimental, hard-nosed, left-field techno that is incredibly out there, maybe so much where I wasn't really getting as much out of it as I would have liked. But if you are looking for some supremely strange electronic music that is very cold, is very calculated, is very, this is weird, shut up, then give this thing a listen. Musician. Have you given any of these albums a listen? And if you have, did you enjoy them a lot more than I did? Most likely. Most likely. But that's fine. World's still turning. And anything here that you haven't heard, I encourage you to, check it out for yourself and just sort of see what's going on. And that's it. Anthony Fantano. Music forever.